So we've got our site in a decent state at the desktop level, but we're trying to make this thing fully responsive as well. So as you can see, even just at this width, we're getting some content cut off here. Our button's kind of out of the place and some stuff just looks crowded. So we kind of need to, design around that as well. That's something that could have been done from the beginning, but I typically design a website from the desktop view down. Most people would frown against that and tell you to do mobile first design and development, and while I can agree with that, it's just not always as easy to do because some things on mobile are just not existent on desktop, so you have to think about that transcending from one width to the next. So the key devices we're going to worry about are the ones kind of built into the Chrome browser dev tools. A neat feature that you can do is open your dev tools. Like I just right clicked and hit inspect element, but there's a key command for that too if you want to use it. But there is this device toolbar option. If you just click that, you can actually toggle in certain devices without having to shrink your screen to a ridiculous size and get things working for you. So we want to at least utilize that, I think, at this point and go from there. You can target Android devices, iPhone devices, anything Apple pretty much, and then you can also edit this device list if you want to do anything fancy. Or there's just a regular responsive one too, where you can just kind of do this stuff. The nice thing about this is the fact that it's serving stuff at true pixel density at this resolution. So if you want to do retina, you can do that. It does show that. You can also, let me shrink this a little bit. If you're doing some advanced stuff and you want to do like network throttling, you can add that. You can capture screenshots. All this stuff's in here. It's pretty nice. You can show media queries here. Also nice. I'm going to hide those for now. And you could do the frame thing too, which is kind of nice. For brevity though, I'm going to just hide pretty much everything except our design, just so we have everything queued in and ready for us. So I think I'm going to start at this view and just work our way down the page. Luckily, some of the grid stuff we were using already saves us when we get to this width. Some stuff not so much, so we'll have to account for that. So I guess we'll roll with the homepage first. One thing I wanted to at least get rolling with is getting this image and this huge box working on mobile. The menu we're going to worry about maybe in a later episode. I did find a CodePen example here. I'll show you real quick that I really like. I might just have to steal it. I think people do this every day with code. You go to Stack Overflow or something and just take it and change it to what meets your project, so whatever works for you. But essentially it's just basic CSS. Well, they use Sass here, and it's doing some nice animations and stuff, but it's inspired by the Apple menu that's on their site at the moment, and very little JavaScript to make it work, which is nice. So we're going to probably kind of tap into that pattern in a future episode. Probably won't worry about that now, but I will initially display this none on the mobile screen just because we will have to anyway. So let's start there. Let's go to the home page. I'll bump up this size. Okay, so we have a set width on the hero background. It looks like we adjusted that here. You can do, well, I guess I could make background size like cover, see what happens. So that kind of does that. That's not exactly what we want. If we do contain, that's better. Okay, so contain contains to the window. Easy enough. Okay, so this big box we want to work with next, and I called it hero content. So let's go into that. I made a separate Sass file for it. We don't need all this real estate. Let's kind of do this and give ourselves more room in the code editor. Okay, the reason that's so far over is because we set an actual width on it. We want that to go away and the left declaration to be not there. So basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to queue in my breakpoint mix in I think I covered this in a few, episode behind this one, if not way before this, about creating mix-ins for this breakpoint stuff. Again, this code will be on GitHub, so you can go ahead and snag that if you want to use it. Up to you. Okay, so I want to essentially go position static here, which is the default positioning on any object or element on a screen. And we want to set the width to like 100%, left 0. Okay, and top would be 0 for now. We can get back to like margin and padding with this. Actually, do you want static? Yeah. Okay, one thing I noticed is it's going to the very top, so that's not necessarily what we want. Oh, you have to spell position right. Okay, let's see what happens here if I keep that not. Okay, maybe we can work with this. So we do top and then go 480, like our image, or what was our height on that? 622, 862. Let's try that. That's way too much. All right, we're getting there. It's actually really close. So something like that. The issue is this stuff below it, it needs to not be positioned in the way it is. So how can we fix that? I think part of the problem is that our header is positioned absolutely. Yeah, header home. I'm gonna try to not position that. Okay, there we go. It kind of needs to be there though. Let's go back for now. Got that. Got that. Okay. Okay, so the header needs to have an exact height, I think is the issue. Does it change anything? Sorta. I'm already making this really hard. Oh man. Okay, so this needs to be, at this point, static does not work. So we got that, which is cool, but if I do 0, it'll go back up to the top. Okay. So in theory, we want this to be static. I need to look at the markup, to be honest, to know what it's confusing me otherwise. So if we go to home, of course it's not there, home, snippets, header home. We've got our menu, our logo, branding. Okay, so that's not even in that one. Hero background, that's the one we want. Okay, so we've got background. Oh, okay, so I'm gonna ditch this and make this position static. Okay, I think this might work if we get this to come over. Left 0 with 100%. Okay. And box shadow, none. height auto. We got a ridiculous amount of padding. Where's that at? Hero inner. Okay, that's what's going on. Padding. Basically divide everything in half and see how narrow that is. Okay, that should be decent. Let's go with that. Okay, I think I want the background none. And then the hero inner to have the background on. Okay. So why isn't that going the full height? This is confusing. All right, hero inner. Doesn't do anything. What if relative is out of the picture? Does that change much? Not really. Okay, that does that. Okay, we're getting somewhere, maybe. I think the actual hero header or background here needs to have like a margin bottom because it's positioned absolutely. So then the browser is like ignoring it. So if we do, I don't know, something like so. But what's weird is this learn more about me button's way the hell down there. So I don't understand why that's the case. I need to fix that. I think because it's absolutely positioned. The block. Yep, that's why. Okay, so let's fix that before I tear my hair out. I'm gonna go just a basic thing there, and then we'll go to the content, look for that button. Here's position. I'm gonna do medium and position static. Okay, cool. And then on our button itself, width will be 100%. Display block doesn't seem to be affecting it at all. Okay. Border radius, none for now. It's got padding there. Okay, that's why. So the height, and I did border radius wrong. It needs to be 0. It does need padding, but not as much as we had. So let's grab that back. I guess just on the right. What? What's that about? Okay, we'll get rid of the padding and do text line center to fix that. And then the arrow will have to move as well. I think border radius will do, what's on our typical buttons here? Buttons, okay. 3 pixels. And I think it's already got, yeah, it kind of needs our little mix in. But there is no hover effect on a mobile, so that makes no sense really, so we won't do that. Left, maybe like one rim. That works, I think. All right, so let's target the, I'm gonna get rid of this menu real quick. I need to find it in probably our header file. So it's got that going on. For now, I'm gonna just get rid of that and just do media or display none. We'll come back. All right, so let's adjust the big title. I think I made that right here. It's a class, so if we can adjust that globally on all the ones we used it for. 2. That works. And line height will be, we'll do like, okay. I can't decide if I want to keep this, if I want to butt this colored thing up to the top here, or just kind of have it be a little less. Before I go anywhere, do anything though, I want to adjust this height a little to be a little bit less of the button, maybe like 60. Yeah. And we'll do a tad more margin on the top. Maybe more than that. There we go. All right. So we do have this gray background we're contending with. It's very hard to see probably on your screen. So what I might do is rid the background altogether, or go this route and put white back on that and see if it works, which it does not. So actually that did fix it. No, it didn't. I think that did, yeah. So it's a little off-white now, but that's okay with me. It's not supposed to be that big blocky thing we had initially. And before I get too far, I think I'm gonna I'll probably do this off screen or off video, but just get the actual emblem here and use that as our mobile logo. I will do that very shortly. I think the width of this arrow is a little much. To go back to maybe 32. Okay, that works. And then top, maybe do 0. Nope. Nope. 6. There we go. Cool. All right, so this should be a good start to the hero there. That heading is giving me, I'm rethinking it, a little tighter, possibly a little larger. Yeah. There we go. All right, let's move down to this brand strategy menu or block. Let's see what we got here. We got a font size. And overall, it needs less padding. Cool. Content. Not that. That's too small. It's too big. I think we'll roll with this, but go about that. I don't like it's called the widow, the last thing on there, but I guess we can roll with it. And this is nice. What the hell? I'll figure out what's causing that. There it is. Okay. So let's get that form next. I think that section was pretty clear. Content. I guess that's separate file. Yep. Okay. So let's go over to our global. I think it's in here. Not there. So we don't want a predetermined width here on mobile. We kind of want that to be almost, well, forms are weird. So I don't know that it can be 100%, but I usually do roll in around 96. For some reason that works. Of course it doesn't now. What in the world? Where it is? Right here. This thing's throwing that form off. So maybe we can target this one specifically. I think I will. I'll go to back to the home page. And go to home CTA, brand strategy. And we'll just grab this specifically. We could do form. We can set an actual width here. Probably want to do this medium. All right, so let's make it, since we're having issues with just putting it 100%, like right now, it'll be, I think it'll do this. We want it to be wider than that. We're going to have to actually give it an actual width. So I think we'll do something like so, which was a great guess. Shit. Okay, cool. All right, let's see what I need to get a 7 set up here. I need to fix this footer before this thing drives me nuts. So let's go down and do that real quick. And I think again I'll have to adjust the subscribe form. We got social text right. This is crazy amount of margin I just now noticed, so we'll do something like that. Okay, and the input itself is way too wide, obviously, so we will need to decrease that width. What did we use before? I think it was 290. Yeah. Could potentially go a little more here for some reason. There we go. All right, we need to do that. So I guess I can do that. Just target text right and do medium and do doesn't like it. Oh, it's because it's not in the form class. We need to go in the actual footer. Silly me. And make this easier. Just do this. Okay. Cool. All right. Let's go back up. This section looks pretty decent already, which is nice. We could probably make that title a little smaller. I'm gonna probably center this just like we did here, just to keep that consistent. So let's go to that section in our home page folder. what section under process. So the intro, we got our counter thingy. That's cool. Let me give this a little more margin. And probably not on the top though, so bottom. Okay, and just see if this works. There we go. The line height on that's bugging me. Let me adjust it real quick. What do we use above? 2.4 rem, so it's using the big title. I don't think I want to use that throughout. You know what, while I'm at it, I'm gonna do basic title and just make this easier on myself. This is kind of the refactoring process, as I like to call it. So we've got all these random like font sizes and margins, and it just gets hairy fast. So we don't want to keep repeating ourselves or keep writing code that really isn't necessary if we don't have to. So we've got 2.2 rem. I think, let's see how it looks. It's gonna throw an error. Thank you. So that's already at 2 rem, so we want 9. There we go. I think that looks better. It's just subtle, like 185. There we go. Yeah, so let's use that as our global basic title class. We'll come back. And we could do an extend, or we can just go ahead and add that class to the markup. I think we'll probably do the latter. I will go back and do that real quick, at least on the homepage for now, and then I'll probably do it off screen so you guys don't really see me just changing that class out. It's not a huge deal. That, and then the process we need to find. I'll probably refactor this too. I've got a bunch of home snippets that I should put into their own directory. Process title. Okay, so we're using big title here. I'm going to use basic. And we need to go back to this and intro title. There we go. And when this needs to display. One thing I can do that should make this easier, each button I think has a button class, button secondary process. Okay, we can target it specifically that way though. Buttons. Oh, we can just do this. So medium, display block, take center. That should make that work, okay. If you don't want it full width, you can still do inline. You just have to set an actual width with that. I think I'll keep it as is right now. See how things work out. I don't think it has margin on it to begin with. Nope, okay. It does here though, so I think that's what's up. Yeah. We actually want margin bottom. Okay, we might adjust the margin on those just a tad. Right now they have a little bit on the right and left. I'm gonna go ahead and make that inexistent on mobile, just so we're going straight to our grid on the left and right. So we'll keep what's on the bottom there and get rid of, oops, the right and left. There we go. And realistically, the bottom has quite a bit too. We don't need that much height between them. Let's go to the next section. Call to action. Okay. So we have a set height here, and it's a background size of color. If we do, let's see if we do background size contain, how bad does that look? That's not right. Contain looks pretty bad. Okay, let's do cover still, but adjust the position. So background position is like, we'll start with 0, 0 and see. I think it's X and Y. It's gonna go up and down. Okay, so we want 0 and then like negative 200 pixels. And then we can set the height of this to be smaller as well. So maybe we'll make it like just a touch. Yeah. Could probably do, let's try something. I don't know if you can set the opacity. What we can do though is this. Let's do this. A little hack for you. If you want to get like a color over your image, I'm gonna assume this is gonna work, but I could be wrong. Give it no content. Make sure the container before is relative, and then this will be absolute. And then you want to give every coordinate 0, so it goes from each corner, right, and spans the whole thing basically. Left 0, and then make sure the width and height are the same. And then you could give it a fill that's slightly transparent, so background color, and in this case we'll do RGBA black and give it something kind of darker, so like 3. We can start there. Sweet. Okay, so now we can maybe set, okay, let's go 1, and then I don't know if you can do this on that same element. Damn, you can't. Okay, maybe scratch that idea. Oh, okay, it worked. Cool. That was lucky. Let's make that 1. All right, let's make that a little darker though. And then this is I'm gonna add some padding on the top. Quite a bit. Okay, here's what we'll do. Instead of padding on this bad boy, we'll cut that. Go down to the inner part, put it on that, and 1 rim, bottom, I don't really care. That didn't work. Oh. So something like so. We can maybe go a little. Gonna make it weird. Yep. All right, so we've got that. maybe we can roll with that if we get this in a better state. I'm going to keep that at 0 and make the height of this quite a bit more. And like 600. It's going to cut her off. So if we do I don't know, this is tricky because the higher in height you go, the less space you have to work with. Okay, let's start. What if we tweak the text to make it smaller? Let's do that first. So if we go this and do font size like 1 point home CTA text citation. Okay, so that's that. And it helps if you spell right. That's way too small. Okay, so we'll go with that and then adjust the line height accordingly. It's like 2 rem. Okay, that's better. It's a little too much actually, so 1.6. Nice. And instead of text line right here, I'm going to, we need to target that. I'll come down here at the bottom. Center. Okay. I think that's decent. It's kind of goofy looking, I know, but it's got a face still, and we could probably get away with it. Let's see if the height can increase just a little bit. And we can go a little more for the padding. Remove the citation. Oh, we need one. Okay. I think that works. Okay, let's roll with that for now. And let's adjust this content. So the general call to action is in our global folder. It's a huge font size, so we're going to change that. I'll do it, yeah. I can't spell. Okay, and then padding could be a little less. Not like that, like that. Okay, maybe a little more. And then this needs to be a little more too. And the footer itself, this will be repeated on every page, so we can just luckily use these styles everywhere. Neat. And then the logo. Looks like I don't have the logo. Let's see what we got. Citation. Footer logo. Sweet. And this one, I adjusted it to be text line left, but I don't know why I really did that. So it will be center here. that didn't do anything either. So let's double check the social icons. Let's try to do those separately. Center. Come on now. I suppose if I just add more padding, that could work, but it's also kind of risky. Yeah, I don't really like that. I guess that works though. Okay, and then looks like there's a bunch of margin. Oh, okay, the form class. So let's go back to the basic footer and just add this to our subscribe form. And that was my fault here. Basically just don't want any margin. Sweet. Alright guys, so I think that wraps up the home page for the responsiveness. We still need to get the global header here in play. I'm going to extract just this part of the logo and do that soon. We'll incorporate a menu like I showed you before, kind of like this. I kind of like that effect. It's nice. I'm not sure how it works actually on a device. I'd like to test it out first and see if it's worth it. Worst case is we can find another solution just to do the same problem or same thing. Obviously tablet's going to be a little different. We'll have to adjust that accordingly. But so far it looks like it's working as well, minus this section if you couldn't tell. I don't know if I'll cover the tablet portion just because it's honestly trial and error and all devices are different. So you have to kind of just be wary of that and set your best guesses and judgments forward. So I'll try to cover as much as I can. So the next video we'll move on to probably the next page and get that done and wrap up each page and then finally come back to this header.